Woohoo! Welcome back to Shifts and Giggles. Have you ever had one of those moments where your life takes an unexpected turn and then suddenly you're following a path you never could have imagined? Today's guest is someone who has spent her entire life listening to the body, the intuition, and the gentle nudges that often lead us exactly where we're meant to be. I'm super happy to welcome Rachel Mazzarelli. Rachel has been immersed in the world of wellness since long before it became mainstream. She was raised by a mother and a grandmother who believed food could be medicine and movement was essential. She grew up with healthy living woven into everyday life. From there, her journey took her through fitness, corporate wellness, nutrition, yoga, and into the fascinating world of thermography. But as you'll hear today, that wasn't the end of the story. It was just another beginning. Her own experiences led her to explore the deeper energetic side of healing, helping people uncover and release subconscious beliefs and emotional patterns that may be standing in the way of living fully. What I love about Rachel is that she reminds us that healing isn't just about fixing what's broken, it's about becoming more aware, more connected, and more aligned with who we truly are. So, today we're talking about the incredible intelligence of the body, the messages it sends us, the connection between our emotions and our physical health, and what becomes possible when we begin listening in a whole new way. So, whether you're curious about thermography, fascinated by energy medicine, or simply wondering what your own body has been trying to tell you, you're in for a wonderful conversation. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you. That was quite an intro. My goodness.
Woo-hoo!
Well done. I know who I have to call for my writing.
So, talk to me about, I love holy shifts, those moments when suddenly everything changes. So, what's been one of the biggest holy shifts in your life?
Um, well, instantaneously, what just came to me, which I'm like, that's always the subconscious talking, right?
Yeah.
Is when I came back, I traveled the world when I graduated college, and I came back, I thought I was going to always work for my family business. That was my path. And I did that for 2 years. And I hit this moment where I just knew this was not in alignment with who I was. I loved the people that I was working with. I knew that they were really excited for me to take over the business at some point. But my uncles and my dad, who I absolutely adore, they had a way of managing business that wasn't for me. It was super old school, and it was a little hardcore, kind of beat the dog and reward them without it being abusive.
Right.
And I found myself at this incredible crossroads where it was devastating to my heart. At 54, I'm like, what's the big deal? You wanted to change paths. But back then, it felt really traumatic.
Yeah, when
And
you're that young.
totally, like, this was what I always wanted to do. I mean, always, I was 22. So, anyway, I allowed that to be. And I kind of just trusted in what I had already come to know about guidance and trusting your path. And I quit. And it was really a holy shift moment for me. I remember my dad saying to me, again, who is my safety net. He's always been my go-to, but he said, "You do what you're good at, not what you love." And
Wow.
yeah, and this was a guy I looked up to. He introduced me to the quantum when I was 20. And I was like, actually, no, that is not what I believe. And so I quit and I moved to New Hampshire, and that started a whole different trajectory of career for me where I got into fitness as a business, got into corporate, and so on, everything that you talked about, my life's path. And so I feel like that was probably the really biggest first move. And subsequently, each next step, which has been on a similar path, um, has been that, just trusting where I'm at.
Trusting that wisdom and trusting
Yeah.
that belief that you had and not letting somebody put their belief on you.
Especially somebody who meant everything to me, who
Yeah,
I trusted implicitly, my go-to guy, yeah,
that's beautiful.
yeah,
I love that. I want to talk about thermography.
yeah,
I want to talk about the other stuff too, but I want to talk about thermography because I feel like nobody really knows what thermography is. There's
yes,
not enough information out there about it. And I feel like it's a really beautiful tool for everybody and women also. Um, so, how would you describe thermography to somebody who has no idea what that is?
yeah. So thank you for this opportunity for telling people about this, because I say often it's been one of the best kept secrets. It's unbelievable how well they have navigated keeping it hidden. So I think it is an unbelievable tool for anybody, but especially women, for monitoring their breast health and overall health. And I say overall because I think in our culture now, and for a long time, when doctors stopped being general practitioners and you had the doctor who came to your home and treated you for everything, we've become specialized and we've cut the body apart into pieces. And so, thermography, while it monitors your breast health with incredible high accuracy and no risk, we are so much more than just our breasts, right? And we can have
Absolutely.
things going on in our breasts because of our teeth, because of our gut, because of our belief systems. And so I got introduced to it probably 25 years ago, if not more, when I was getting my master's in nutrition. I had never heard of it. I was 35 at the time, and or maybe younger, and no, younger. And then a woman that I was in my master's with, she got certified to do it, and I started doing it. And I feel so grateful because now, 20 years later, 21 years later, I've had this incredibly, um, incredibly highly accurate tool for monitoring my health that is non invasive, that's been around for a long time, that's read by medical doctors. And back then, I would say it was 1 out of 10 people knew, maybe. And the stat's not much different
Yeah,
now.
I know.
It's shocking. Like anytime I do a talk, it's
They're like,
unbelievable.
wow, who knew this was there?
Right. Who knows? And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. So,
So,
yes.
for someone who's never heard about thermography, why should they care?
So, what thermography offers is early detection of shift. So, our bodies are magic and they have the ability to repair and rejuvenate, and they do repair and rejuvenate all the time. And when something goes awry in our body, there has actually been a long process that's happened before we get that telling, that diagnosis, that illness, that injury. And thermography is a way to have a look into the body, hopefully before that thing happens or before that thing is told. And so, what it does is your body gives off an infrared heat, just like the sun does. And so, the camera reads that heat and it doesn't go deep. So, it's only about 5 millimeters, which would mean that things that are very deep in the body, like a bone cancer or even imaging of or information around the heart and the lungs, it's not going to be a great tool for, because those are very deep in the body. But things that are more surface and have that thermal signature that radiate off the body, that's what the camera's going to pick up and is going to read. And
So, what would some
so
of those things be?
so for your breasts, it's going to be lymphatic congestion, which is hugely important. I'm a huge advocate around the lymphatic system and educating ourselves. I see it all the time on reports because it's a system that travels through the whole body and it gets congested very easily because it doesn't have a pump. And so it's how we remove toxin. And so, as you can imagine, if toxin is building up in areas, it can present a problem. And some people can have lumps in their breasts just because they have lymphatic congestion.
Wow.
So, lymphatics will be through the whole body. For the breast, also, you're going to find out about hormone imbalance, which a huge percentage of women that get breast cancer, it's due to a hormone imbalance thing. It wouldn't be the test I would say, hey, go do a thermogram to test your hormones. However, it's an incredible adjunct and possibly story offering experience into what's going on. Lastly, would be vascular activity. And so, is there any angiogenesis, the creation of red blood cells, which is what happens when we do have a breast cancer situation happening? And what really becomes amazing is what I said earlier is the early detection of shift. So, typically, breast cancer is a very slow growing cancer and it duplicates every 90 days. In order for the mass to get big enough to be seen on a mammogram, it takes roughly 5 to 8 years of growing.
Wow.
Crazy, right? And so
Yeah.
people get their mammograms and they're being told early detection, right? And so thermogram, you could see that immediately. And so now you have somewhere between 5 to 8 years to implement anything and everything to help get your body back in balance. And fast growing cancers, they don't get picked up by a lot. You know, if you catch those, it's a gift because they can be missed by any test and all tests because again, they're fast growing, they're turbo cancers, etc. For your head and neck scan, which I absolutely love, it's amazing for dental, periodontal, TMJ. Big thing that most people are unaware of is how connected what happens in our mouth is to the rest of our body. And so I love when people do a half body scan because often thyroid health, carotid artery, um, in warm ear canals, indicative of inflammatory processes going on. And
Wow, I never
so
knew all this about the neck and head scan.
yeah, it's amazing. And I get a lot of reports. I would say probably 40% of my clients do half body scans. And again, it's rare that nothing comes up. And I'm not talking it's terrifying information. It's
Right.
great information to say, hey, go find out what number root canal you have in your mouth. We need to know what's going on. Is it correlated to what's happening in your breast or your colon? And so we can talk about all of those things. You know, is there carotid artery issue, and maybe you need to have some inflammatory markers done, you know, through serum. And so your abdomen would be all your organs and their functioning. Like I said, lymphatics through the whole body, and then your legs are vascular issues, prediabetes, soft tissue injury.
That's amazing. So do most people do like a full body scan?
You know what? Most people do. I would say most people come to me for a breast scan because if you know anything about thermography, you're going to find it for that,
Yeah.
which
That's
is
how I know
amazing.
about it. It's from
Right.
breast.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And that's great. You know, it's a good starting point. Like I said, probably 40% of my clients, if not more, they do have body scanning at this point, which is top of the head, not the brain. You can't scan the brain to the base of the pubic area. So you're lowering your pants and underwear all the way down so the whole pubic area shows. And a lot of people do that scan, which I think is an incredible proactive way to monitor what's going on in your health.
That's amazing. So do men do thermography also?
Yes, I don't have a lot of male clients. That's just the way I think our culture works. You know, when you go to seminars, things, it's mostly women. I can absolutely scan men. I do scan men. The only part of the male body that can't be scanned is testicles.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so what what does a thermogram tell you? Like that like can you differentiate between like, well, why would somebody like just not get a mammogram?
Not get a mammogram?
Yeah, why would they come to for a thermography session rather than just getting a mammogram?
So most of the all of the reason why my clients come for thermogram is if they are choosing to not have mammogram, which I want to put the asterisk in right now, the report, which is read by a medical doctor who's also certified to read thermography, similar to mammogram, is a also an MD who's certified to read radiology, right? And so the report will say this is not a replacement for mammogram. It's an adjunctive test because they do not want to go head to head with the medical community, as the gold standard is mammogram and ultrasound for monitoring breast health. That being said, I would say 70% apps minimum of my clients don't do mammograms because they something intuitively inside them is saying this doesn't feel right. I don't want to radiate my breasts and I don't want to squish them with the severity that a mammogram does. And the thing I love about my clients, I love a lot of things about them, but people that make their way to thermography, they've spent time researching.
Mm,
They're researchers. And so they've decided upon the research they found that the risk does not outweigh the benefit. And that's another big platform of mine is anything you do to your body, absolutely anything, you should be weighing that out. And if you believe that the risk outweighs the benefit, then that's great. That's your
right.
choice, right?
That's right.
But we don't want to be doing things to our body out of fear or belief systems that we're unaware are, creating our now.
Yeah. And radiation is a concern.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I
And
mean, I'm not going to say that
thermography
there's,
does not have that same
it
side
does
effect.
not. No. So thermography is reading the infrared heat coming off the body. It's read in temperature. So it's an 8-degree scale, and there are 100,000 temperature readings per picture that we take. So the doctor read the temperature, they read the pattern, they correlate it with the client's health history, and that's how they give the reading. It's very cut and dry. It's a doctor reading your report. So it's not warm and fuzzy and it's not diagnostic. What I will then do is explain what the doctors said about the report, go back to anything a client has shared with me in their current health or something in their past. And if there's any correlations that I can help make for them to maybe help them move along with either the findings or what's going on with them, that's how we proceed with, the reports.
I love that. If you could convince every woman to do one thing differently regarding her health, what would it be?
Oh gosh, I wish I would have had that question ahead of time. Hmm.
You can
One
have
thing.
more than one answer.
Thank you. Okay, so what's first coming to me is to shift any limiting belief they may have around fear of something in their health. They, their parents died early. We have a whole month named after breast cancer, so that's a huge belief system. Being scared to get tests because of what the results might be. So
Mm,
being able to reframe how they live in their body to assume health over ill health or the unknown of what may come.
I love that. So, what are some of the ways that you would help somebody shift out of fear?
So there, I mean, there's so many different ways. I think everybody's, an individual for sure. And certainly through the energy medicine that I do, it's around belief systems. I'm a Psyche facilitator, and that's all about shifting limiting beliefs and or installing the opposite, the positive around what's going to help or transforming the perception of stress that's happened in the past, the present, or the future that's just ruminating all the time. I say, we can't erase the memories, but we can take the needle off the record and stick the record on the shelf. So
That's right.
it's not impacting our now, right? The other modality I do is through discovery healing. It's emotion code, body code, and belief code. And that is this incredible system that allows releasing of trapped emotions or belief systems, which are both the hardware of the system and also coming in and changing and shifting the software. Both modalities accessing the subconscious, both modalities use muscle testing. And the gift of now is all of these amazing techniques. You do, I do, and there's tons out there. And so that would be a huge part. You know, when I was practicing nutrition, I would always say to people, if you want your diet and your supplements, herbs to work the best, do the energy work. And
Yep.
that was when I was just a client of being an energy, an energy client, because ultimately that's what we are, right? And
We're
so
energy.
we're energy. We are energy. I always tell people, I'm like, do you realize you're 99.99999% space? I'm like, so if that's true, which it is, what's there?
What is there?
What is there? And you're like, oh gosh, that's pretty powerful. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think too, as women, especially men too, but women, perimenopause, menopause, it's all about the adrenals. It's
Yeah.
all about the adrenals. It's the glands that nobody's talking about, because as we are shifting and our female hormones are decreasing, our bodies are saying, holy moly, what do I do right now? Like, how do I have energy? How do I have a sex drive? How do I have vitality and this love of life? And I'm about from going from birthing the world and feeding the world to just me. Like, what the heck is that all about after? And it doesn't matter if you have kids, right? It's
Right.
all about like this transition that we make as a female. And so your body goes, all right, adrenals, come on, I need you. And all of ours are shot because we're in our 40s, 50s, and 60s. And yeah, they're like, yeah, I don't have anything for you. So it's self
Um,
care.
self-care is, and that's a challenge for a
That's
lot of
it.
women in
I
self-care.
know it
And
is
that's the
because
time when people need, I mean, that's the time when you're being asked to take care of yourself.
completely. And now you weren't taught. And now you're like, but I don't even know how. And now you're feeling like, a lot of people are struggling, right? And so my 30-year-old clients, I'm like, please hear my calling. And the ones in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, I'm like, it's baby steps. It's just
It's
baby
baby
steps.
steps.
It's like if you're doing nothing, take 3 breaths, and every little bit, build on that, build on that, build on that. So,
Yeah. Um, what's one experience that changed the way you think about health and healing?
hmm. So, uh, hmm. I mean, I've had a number, I guess,
Well,
a
pick
number
one.
of, yeah. So, one experience when I was in my probably early 20s, my grandmother had Lou Gehrig's disease.
Wow.
And as you stated earlier, I have her health books on my bookshelf here. I went with her, which was odd, but I did, to a hospital in Mexico to
Wow.
heal naturally. And this was back, I mean, like I said, I'm 54, 55 going to be. And this was a long time ago, American Biologics Hospital. And I saw people right before my eyes being cured of stage 4 cancer, using snake venom, using IV drips, eating a certain way, etc.
That's
And
amazing.
it was unbelievable, unbelievable. And I feel like that just really spoke to me in a big way.
Yeah, because like a lot of those alternative therapies are done outside of the United States, right?
No,
And to be
right.
exposed to that at such a young age and recognize that there's a whole world of healing that is outside of what we're led to believe here must have been incredibly holy shifting.
It was incredibly holy shifting. Yes, completely. I know. Yeah, for sure. And you know what? Thermography is a great example of that. There are countries that use thermography as like first line of care for breast health.
That's amazing. So
So,
why do you think or suppose that is? Why?
oh, I knew you were going to go there. I'm like, I guess we can do it. If we're going to do it anywhere, it's here.
It's here,
It's
exactly.
here. How could one really know? Except that I think that in our country and in the world largely too, but there's an agenda. There's an agenda, and it started a long time ago. Rockefellers with what happened with naturopathic medicine and the medical career or the medical education, mainstream medical. And I really truly believe that whoever's navigating the collective experience in a way that I don't uh, resonate with, they are very aware that if they control the narrative and put people in fear and make you forget that you are your healer, that your freedom is not for sale, it's always yours no matter what, that they've got you. And so I think it's driven by money. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
driven,
business, but
it's
medicine has become a
business.
business.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. And I
And
think,
those X-ray machines and those,
yeah. So interestingly, there's history that most people don't know. And so 1984, they were at the table talking about thermography and mammogram and which modality to use. Mammograms
wow.
were already here. So clearly, thermography was accurate enough that they were considering, right? And so why? Well, a thermogram is 230 to $245. A mammogram is a lot more money. And so I think
And they had
that
all those machines they had to have to
correct.
pay for.
That's exactly right. So it's very sad. And I think that the thing that really, really is upsetting is that I don't tell people to not get a mammogram. I don't tell people what to do because your health is yours to, do as you feel, your body, your choice. I will offer my 2 cents about anything you have a question about if I know the answer. But doctors that negate the value of a thermogram, that to me is an atrocity because you have some women, first of all, women don't even monitor their breasts until 40. And now women are getting breast cancer so much early, so
Yeah.
much earlier. And this is this amazing tool that's 83 to 85% accurate, which is similar to a mammogram. And they're not saying, hey, you know what? I don't really know anything about it, but sure, go do something. You have tons of women who don't want mammograms and you're blacklisting them. And
Yeah.
so I think it's such a discredit. And the other interesting thing, if both mammogram and ultrasound are mid 80% accurate alone, if you did them together, your accuracy raises to 95%.
That's incredible. It's an
I think
extra 10
it's
whatever
incredible.
percent.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. And so for a doctor to say, oh no, there's no validity in that, you're killing yourself. That's quack. It's just not true. I mean, like, it's just not.
It's not
So
true.
it's not true.
So, how do people like what does a thermogram session look like with you?
Sure.
You
Yes.
kind of
So,
covered a little bit of it, but
yeah, no, it's worth noting because some people don't realize that at some point they're going to be naked in front of me. And I
uh-huh.
think that has proved to be a stumbling block a handful of times in my career where
That's
they go to do
interesting.
a half body and they were like, that was the most uncomfortable thing. Thankfully, I have more people, tons, a lot on my reviews too, of people saying that I made it very comfortable to be naked.
I'm
So I
sure
just
you
want to put that
do.
out there. Um, so you'll come into the room, you'll put on a gown because you have to acclimate to the temperature in the room, which is somewhere between 69 to 71 degrees. You'll disrobe whatever part of your body you're scanning. So it has to be the bare skin. You'll sit on a stool that's about 3 feet from my tripod that has the camera and my laptop attached to it. And we're going to go over your health history with a lot of detail. We need to do that for a minimum of 10 minutes. It usually will take longer if you're new for me. And once that is done, you'll take the robe off, meaning that you'll be naked. And then I'll take 5 or 6 pictures. If there's something going on, I might take a little bit more. And you'll just be rotating around the stool. I'll say, hands up here. You're going to go here to the side, couple others. That's it. You get dressed.
I love it.
It's so easy. Other than being
Um,
naked. I mean, it's easy.
Well, I like to be naked, so I don't have a
Well,
problem.
there you, we're a good team.
Um, what else would you like people to know about you?
Uh, well, first of all, just for another plug to thermography, not a plug for me, is there's very little that I will say everyone should. If I can just give a shout out to all women, bare minimum, from the ages of 28 through your 80s, do a thermogram. There's no risk involved. It's highly accurate. It's non invasive. It's not expensive. And it's just a great way to monitor your health in a way that should feel empowering and not scary, and a way for you to just take ownership and over your body to learn about what does it mean, to have. And there are people all over the world doing thermography. If you have interest, I am happy to give a website that you can find people near you if you're not near me or I don't resonate with you. And so that would be number one. Number two would be to acknowledge that we're all just energy, and every cell in our body is designed for perfection. And if there's any part of your area, any part of your life that is not where you want it to be, there's a way to get there as long as you have hope and as long as you have proactiveness.
Mm,
And the good news is they say 80% is mindset, 20% is action. I think we probably do 80 action and 20 mindset, which is
that's
probably
probably
where
true.
we like go wrong. And so it's finding what resonates with you. Is it me? Is it Beth? Is it whoever right there? We are not at lack of modalities. We're not at lack of healers and great doctors and great practitioners, but you have to want it.
You have to want it.
You have to
Exactly.
want it. Yeah.
Yeah. Where can people find you?
So, my website is Whole Health Holistics with an S at the end. If you want to read about it and just feel like you're in the comfort of your own experience, I am always happy to jump on a call and explain anything with absolutely no pressure to make an appointment. My number is 203 746 7080. And as I'm saying that, I'm like, is that my phone number? I have such a weird thing to my phone number. I don't know what 726 7080. I might have said it, I might not have. Or you can email me at info@wholehealthholistics.com. And again, if you have questions about anything, I spend a lot of time talking to people, which I feel like ultimately is my passion. It's connecting. It's really connecting. And that's why I'm so happy to have this time with you, Beth. For those of you who don't know, I adore Beth. I really do. We
And
don't
I
get
adore
enough time.
Rachel.
Yeah, I don't get enough time with her, but thank you so much for this time together.
Thank you so much. You're always fun to chat with, and I adore you. And for the listeners, I will have the website and all the links and information about how to reach Rachel in the copy. And stay tuned for our next episode.
You.